Theo Dorsey here with Coach Dylan Potts of the defending state champion West Boca Bulls as we head into a Friday night game of the week. Coach Potts, thanks for joining us. Your team is 6-1, and of course you have a big date on the calendar now with a game against Cardinal Newman on the road. How you feeling going into this one now in week 9 of the high school football season?
Yeah, we're feeling like we're finally starting to hit full stride. Defensively they're playing lights out. I mean, I think it's the best unit in the state when you look at points per game and just what they're doing. And we feel like we're hitting our stride offensively. Last week rushed for 392. So like we're getting on a roll right now, and we think we're getting hot at the right time.
Isn't this like obviously you have had a tough schedule through and through, but a team like Newman that also is anticipating playing for a state title in their bracket in the playoffs, isn't this a perfect time to face a team like that to try to make sure that as good as you were at the start of the season, you still are improving week by week?
No, absolutely. I mean, Cardinal Newman's been one of the top teams in South Florida for the last, couple years. We know we're going to face a very well coached team, and we haven't had the opportunity to play them. So it's always good to play some of the other top teams as well. So we're looking forward to a good environment up there on Friday night, and it's going to be a good one.
Talked about the run game getting back into form. You've been able to do that somewhat without JV and Mallory. How's his health going into this week? And what have you learned out of your team? Because again, you had a prolonged absence last year without the guy who's the number one on the top 63 list. What have you learned out of your team the past couple of weeks playing without him?
It's the same mindset as was last year. Obviously JVN's special. You're never going to replace a kid like JVN, and he'll be a game time decision on Friday. But we expect him to be playing. But if he's not able to play, like I said, it's kind of running back by committee, and whoever's got the hot hand, we're going to roll with. We have confidence in all three of those kids. Jaden Lockhart, Quentin Miller went for 160 last year or last week. Anderson Gracilian went for 100 the week before against Western. So we know any of those three can get it done at any point, and we know it's kind of just rolling with whoever's got the hot hand out of those three.
As I'm looking at you, I see that beautiful weight room, the new facilities there behind you. How has that changed the way in which you guys have been able to prepare week to week, recover week to week, and just, elevate as a program this year? Whereas last year you had your old facilities, but it still worked out with you guys winning the state title.
Well, I mean, I think it's just really allowed us to do the things. This is the best I've felt as a coach with the kids lifting during the season. I mean, our kids are lifting very hard. 4 days a week still throughout in season right now, which is crazy. So to be able to have the luxury to do that, so it's been a blessing for us.
You guys have only you mentioned it. You haven't played Newman as a head coach there. The last time these two teams have faced off was 2018. Y'all have split 1-1. This is gonna be the game of the week. This is gonna be a game that a lot of eyes are on. There's a lot of big games throughout the county between top 10 teams on our poll, but clearly this is gonna be one of the major ones here, and that's why we're gonna have the broadcast team there. What have you seen out of them? Not just defensively, but their offensive threat that they pose with Snow and the rest of those guys who can also put up points when need be.
Well, we had a chance to play against Benjamin last year in a tough one that we were able to get the job done 14-13. So we know a little bit what to expect with Phoenix. I mean, he's a great running back, runs hard. Haven't had a chance to play against Hewley yet. I mean, we've seen the great things. He's going to WVU for a reason. He's electric with his arm and his leg. So we know it starts with those two right there, and they got a solid offensive line unit. So we're expecting, and at the end of the day, Coach Jackson won two state titles, so he knows how to win. So it's going to be a very well coached team, and those kids are going to come out and play hard, and they're going to believe they can win just like we are as well too.
Y'all have only allowed 34 points this year. Like this defense that we thought could get no better last year has seemingly improved. What's been the biggest changes on that side of the ball that have helped you guys be even more of a brick wall?
Well, I think we're a little bit more aggressive this year. I think it's kids are a year older. We're a little bit more aggressive. We're creating more turnovers. We're playing a little bit more man to man this year than we've ever done in the past, and it's creating havoc. Like I said, I mean, the defensive line is, I can name all eight of them right now, and they're producing at a high level. We're getting a lot of production out of our linebackers, Damari, Jerry, Max Reed, and then the secondary, they've upped it up another level right now. Jaden Broadnex to me is the best corner in the state of Florida, so he kind of shuts down whatever side he's on, and we got the young kid Carlton Jackson, who's going to be another four-star kid in the 28 class, Larry Morgan, Trey Mitchell, Tegan Brisky, DeLorean Airhall. I mean, it's just I can go on, and there's depth. there's depth, and I think the best thing about that defense and the best thing about our offense is there's competition. Like at the end of the day, we play a lot of kids and we rotate and things of that nature, but kids are competitive and they want to be in that starting 11. So, and there's a lot of talent out there, so they're competing every week to get on that field and be in that starting 11 group. So it's defense. We've always hung our hat on here. Like I said, we're going to run the football and we're going to play defense. That's our brand, and we know if we do those two things, we're going to be sitting good again here at the end of December.
Head coach of the West Boca Bulls, 6-1. Dylan Potts joining me, Theo Dorsey here, as we approach a big time game of the week matchup against Cardinal Newman. I'm curious for you because you talked about Broadneck's teams not wanting to throw it to his side. I saw you guys at Royal Palm last week, and I witnessed that firsthand, where it felt like one side of the field just was not an option for New Royal. I'm curious though for you. What did you see out of Royal Palm Beach? Because that's a team that we looked at the West Boca game for them as a big measuring stick, just to pivot a little bit. That their defense was pretty stout from the second quarter on. What did you see out of them in the growth that they've shown over the past few years, and specifically this year, as they've been, rallying off wins left and right?
Yeah, I mean, I think they have a good group of skill kids, and some of them are very young kids. The number 7 kid, I think, is a sophomore. The Bell kid, I think they definitely have some good building pieces right there, and they got some good young skill kids that are competing at a high level for them, and they're definitely taking an improvement from where they've been last year. So, like I said, I think Coach Curry's doing a great job up there, building it the right way with those kids, and he's more importantly, that's what we were talking. I was like, he's got them believing they can win, and that's honestly, as a coach, the most important thing right there is just believing that you can go out and compete against any team.
And then with your team right now, you guys have a more of a target of your back on your back even than you did last year because you guys had the state title. Have you noticed that when you guys trot out there on Friday nights in games like this past week, or even earlier in the season?
No, absolutely. I mean, we knew that going into the year. I mean, we know. I tell the kids all the time, "Hey, we're the show. Everyone's going to come bring their best A game for us right now." And like I said, so our kids are prepared that there's no slip ups. There's you're not going to skate by, just catch anyone. It's you got to bring it every week because every team you're going to play is want to be. We're going to be the measuring stick. Hey, we're playing West Boca right now. They won a state title last year, so we know if we just go out and just play our game, like I said, we feel confident that there's not anyone that can beat us.
Also, a target of head coaches. I did notice, and I missed him by the time I got there, that Mario Cristobal was out there at y'all's game against Royal Palm. Did you have any conversations with him? And what is it like having a guy like that who's coaching the number 2 team in the nation collegiately coming to check out your guys on a Friday night?
I mean, Coach Cristobal has been great. Obviously, Javian's committed, and we got a couple 27s, Jamar Thompson, Damari Jerry, Juvie Harrington, that Miami's targeting as well. So it's always great to see, guys like that out there. At the end of the day, kids are kids still. When they see a guy like Coach Cristobal out there, kids just, you have that extra push to play even a little bit harder right there. So it's always great having big time college coaches or anytime college coaches out there. Because at the end of the day, I always, in the spring, I always tell the coaches, and I was like, man, I wish I had 55 coaches at every practice because every time you guys come, it's the best practice of the year.
That's always a good sign to see out of your guys, at least, and they know when to turn it on as well on Fridays and when those college coaches are in the room. I want to wrap with this. You're playing again against Cardinal Newman. It's going to be on the road in West Palm Beach. What does it need to take out of your guys? What happens to make sure that West Boca walks out of there with a win?
I think it's just coming in having tunnel vision. Like I said, not we know it's going to be a hyped up game. We know there's going to be a lot of media. It's their homecoming. It's going to be a lot of things going on. So we just got to come in and lock in, not feed into all the other stuff, and just once that whistle blows, just play football. We know if we do that, like I said, we know we're prepared to play all 4 quarters and more if we need to, because we know it's going to be a dogfight, and we know what type of team they are, and that they're going to compete, and they're looking forward to this. But at the same time, we've been looking forward to this one as well too.
Looking forward to checking it out on Friday night. I appreciate you taking out the time, and again, good luck to those Bulls. Stay healthy, and looking forward to a good game.
Absolutely. Thank you, Theo.